everybody.
Hello.
Y'all have a good weekend?
I know I did. Did you?
I did too.
Hey.
It's been really good. Welcome to Drippin Gems. My name is Diamondpieces.
And I'm Denisha Rhea.
And we're coming to you live from Louisville, Kentucky.
Hey.
So we just been chopping it up. And one of the things we want you guys to know about us is that we are educated women.
Hey.
We both have graduated from 4-year colleges.
Amen.
And so what we want to talk about today is Hbcus, historically black college universities, and traditional colleges. So first I'm going to start out with me. I graduated from a traditional college. Denisha?
I graduated from an Hbcu.
So I just got a few questions because we want to compare and contrast. So why did you choose a Hbcu?
Well, okay. I graduated from Kentucky State University, so it's not only HBCU, but it's also considered a state college. So I basically was your average high school student and really didn't start really thinking about how serious I needed to get about college until junior, senior year. And basically, Alabama State University was checking for a sister and Kentucky State University was checking for a sister. So I had two options, okay? But when I got there, I really felt like it was a great experience. I wouldn't change it. I felt like...
So why didn't you go to Alabama? What made you choose?
My daddy. Okay. My daddy told me I didn't know nothing about Alabama. And it was too far. And so I needed to stay there. My plan was to do Kentucky State for a year because surprisingly to myself, I think I just had like low confidence in myself. Got to K-State. My first semester I made 1 C, made A's and B's. And then the second semester I made like straight A's. And my plan was to go to TSU, but that second semester was we wasn't saying lit then, but it was lit. And I got me a little boyfriend. I was enjoying my classes, enjoying campus life, so I decided to stay.
You did. I liked all the activities.
Amen.
Well, I chose a traditional college. Let me first start out in saying that I did want to go to a HBCU, but Mama wasn't having it. And I will say that she did choose my best interest because knowing me, knowing myself, I don't think I would have been successful at a HBCU. Just being around my own would have distracted me. So in deciding to go to the University of Louisville, which I stayed in my own town, my own city, I felt like I could be really close to home at that time. My father was going through a lot of health issues and I needed to be at home to be able to just stay in touch with what was going on, because I also had other options which wasn't that far, but I just felt like I needed to be here. And then just also kind of doing my research, I knew that the University of Louisville had a really good nursing school program, and then there was also several hospitals in the area that was giving really good scholarships, but in return you had to work for them once you graduated. So I try to consider myself being financially responsible, but also making sure that I make a decision that was closer to my family so that I could be able to be close to them in that process.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't experience like my dad having health issues until like my senior year. He was diagnosed with cancer. So I didn't really have a lot of those concerns, but I did end up moving to Lexington. So I definitely understand like when a parent has health issues and things going on, that was definitely a worry of mine. Like, what if he passes while I'm gone? But thank God I was close enough to be able to travel back and forth, but I think also I would have felt better if I was closer at that time when he was battling, and he lost his battle with cancer, some time ago. But yeah, so I totally understand that parents are very important.
Okay, so one of the things that you may notice that's different from traditional versus HBCUs is going to football games, basketball games, activities, and obviously education. Well, education at the end of the day is going to be the same because it is what you make it. Absolutely. But Denisha, to kind of talk about just the everyday life of a student that went to an HBCU.
Right, and I can't speak for every HBCU because I do feel like there's different levels. Some are bigger, and then you have some that were small. So I think K-State was kind of on the small side. So some of the pros that I really did like about that was like the class was smaller. So you didn't really feel like I don't want to say a number, but you felt like you could really have a connection with your professor. You really didn't get lost in the sauce. You definitely, like we were talking about how like it was difficult for them to get into games. You definitely got into every game for free. It wasn't no big deal about that.
They wanted y'all to go to
exactly. Like the games were so much fun. It just like I remember my first game. I was just looking around like, what is this? Because I went to we went to a high school that was predominantly white. They was not going to have no DJ at the game. They wasn't going to have none of that going on. So when I got there, I was just like, okay, this is so hype. And it felt like a family. Like everybody knew everybody. You had people from all walks of life still. Because even though it was a HBCU, you had white people that went there, Asian people that went there, people from Africa that, went there, and then people from all over the United States. You'd be looking like, about K-State. You have people from California, Detroit, New York, Florida, Texas. All over, Wisconsin. All over. You'd be thinking like, they did in our band. Oh my God, our band, like people like, forget the football team because they was like 0-3. Forget them. The band though was dope. Like in the K-Reds, like if you was a K-Red, I guess you was something like that on campus or whatever.
Is it
but
like the Majorettes?
The Majorettes or whatever.
Okay.
Like our band, honey, you could put the band up against anybody's band and they killing it. We had all the where they be having up in Indianapolis, like all the little bands. We had all the classics. Like, yeah, the band is dope. Like, that's one thing that people come for. And I ain't even gonna hate the little softball team. They some champions back in my little day. I even joined that to give me a couple of little free books. And I got a ring, y'all. I'm a champ. Girl got a game one time.
Yeah, taking every
scared of the softball.
Don't hit me
at all.
Well, some of the pros at a traditional college, being a black student, we had our own community. You had the Black Diamond Choir, which that was pretty much everybody who was either church going or knew Christ, and we all pretty much got together and we focused on the Lord, and we sung at different churches, and it really just brought everybody together. Because at the end of the day, we all may have different views on religion, but at the end of the day, it all brought us back together. And really for a lot of us, it was like our time to praise and get our mind right, because we was going up battles with professors and just life in general.
Pause. Hold on, I'm sorry. You can sing, Shiny?
I can sing. I can do
okay, first of all, I've known Shondy since Lady Players 9th grade. And I ain't never known sister could sing. She ain't never sung our birthday song. So May 30th, May 31st, 2019, we gonna have on her singing us a happy birthday.
I can do
come out of retirement.
Something.
Okay, Tasia.
I do. I wouldn't say Tasia. Not Tasia, but yeah, I can do a little something,
We got talent.
Your ear won't be
she'll bandage you up and then sing you a song. I was just saying, hey. Okay, I'm sorry.
You fine.
I didn't know that.
You fine.
Hidden
gem, right. Right, we got many of those.
Hey.
But yeah, with the traditional college, it also allowed me to see a bigger view of the world, because I did live on campus. That was one thing that I did say I had to do if I was going to stay in the same city. So just the experience,
I think that's important.
Yeah, just the experience of being with other ethnicities, other races, just different people that have different backgrounds, having to share the same shower, eating habits, and just being around all those different things really made me realize what type of woman that I want to be, and what I'm not gonna allow, what I'm not gonna do. So it allowed me to see the bigger picture with just working with other people and being able to work as a team in this world. Yeah. The other thing that was a pro was that I was in the nursing program, and so if anybody has taken any nursing classes, I mean, it's probably like one of the hardest programs ever. So I will say that our professors, they were like with us all the time because they knew that what we were going through was going to be tough and that we had to be in contact. I can't say that the same for other programs. I know people who've been in education, been in poli-sci, and they be like, my professor doesn't care about me. But I will say our professors were our mentors. It's interesting, just not too long ago, I ran into my professor at a health fair, and she just was like, she remembered my name, she remembered everything about me, and was interested into me, and it even was like, hey, if you need a job and want to come back to the University of Louisville,
I know that's right.
You can come back because I know you got good work.
Yeah, and that's probably like also just a testament to you on what type of student you were, how involved you are, and like you're still super involved. I just feel like you always got something going on, like with your job or whatever, like and outside of, like, you don't just keep it at the business hours. You're always doing something for the betterment of, you know, where your place of employment is, your chat, your sorority. Like, she's super involved. Like I say, hey, I could take a page out of her book on that one.
I'm super spread.
She is thin, like
I need to take some stuff
like
away
butter.
to be
like
honest.
butter.
But yeah, we Denisha kind of talked about it a little bit. Like, as far as going to the games, to be honest, like, I didn't get to go to my first college game until I graduated and had a little money in my pocket. They used to do lotteries for the students, and even if you got the lottery, you had to still fork up like $500 just to get season passes for the games, and it just wasn't even worth it. So it was like, you know, we just gonna tailgate.
You know what makes me mad about that? Just what, because, you know, honey, we die hard. Even though I went to K-State, you know, and I cheered for them little thoroughbreds, honey. I felt like our little squad, bless their little heart, was like the 13th grade. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I was like, I was coming from Male High School when we went in. Yes, I'm coming from Male High School. I felt like Male could beat them. Like, and I'm sorry, K-State, I love y'all. I used to tell one of my homeboys, I'd be like, why are you missing class, honey? You are not at Duke. You are not at U of L.
To get this contract.
We are 0-3 right now. No, stop it. We 0-3 right now. Bring your ass to class. Ain't nobody giving you no A. You ain't shout out to Montreal. You ain't Montreal Jones. Cause Montreal, girl, I remember, this is how you really athletic. It cracked me up. Side note, we was in psychology class, and we had to do a book report and then kind of report on it in front of the class, right?
Really, this story.
Girl, when I say Trail, it's a Montreal read his book report. He was the star. He wasn't a quarterback, but was he a quarterback?
No, he was like a wide receiver.
Something, but he was like the star of the football team, okay? And yeah, we still do. He's doing his thing. He's doing his thing, though.
He ain't under credit.
Hey, right. But like, he read his book report off the back of the book and got like, I said, I better get a B. I better. Like, so I had to tell my homeboy, like, we only 0-3 up here at K-State. You need to come to class. Like, he's going to fail you. You ain't bringing home no wins for us.
That was one thing that our school, Louisville High School, did. I would say they prepared us for college. Yes. They prepared us for life. We had this little thing. I don't know what it was called, but for everything that we wrote a paper on, we had to use SRE.
Yes.
Statement, reason, and evidence.
Oh my God.
And I promise you, I still use that to this day.
But wait a minute. And then, do you remember that we had to basically write a resume to graduate and interview, like with corporate people to graduate, and you interviewed in front of your homeroom class? Yeah.
They put us through it.
But. Yeah, but like when I went to college, it was kind of like, you know, people might try to downplay, you know what I'm saying, K-State, but I know some people that never even graduated, or they had been there years before me and graduated with me. I feel like college is what you make it.
It really is.
I was like, okay, I know what type of person I am, but I made sure that first year I came home for the summer. After that, I was taking classes through the summer. I was, you know, because so by the time my senior year, only thing I had to do was I was doing observations my senior year, and that was my class, and I was working a full-time job.
Yeah, it is really what you make it. I know so many people that would start out in some of my nursing classes are just in pre-med classes, and then you see them always at the club, they always drinking and smoking, and you're like, girl, you got class tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Like, we can't be doing this.
You got to work hard to play hard.
You
and that was one thing I did, like, the study habits, like even though I was like the average student at Mel, I definitely took those habits because it was like the first day of school we would have homework.
You had homework.
In
you had to read
middle
a book.
school,
You
I
had
had
to
a
read book.
backpack with books and one book in the hand, and people in high school would come home with this one notebook for 5 of their classes.
No.
Not a 5 subject, the 70-page notebook for 5 classes.
You definitely had to be ready. But
Ready.
yeah, the education, I think on both ends, is just, it's what you make it, because now we both, you know, we definitely have options on where we want to work, what we want to do. So some of the other things, we talked about activities, talked about games, but we also have the Greek life. So I am a member of Alpha Kappa Sorority Incorporated. Shout out to my sorors.
Hey.
I come from the Beta Epsilon chapter, fall 2003.
I know that's right. And honey, I'm still working on my dream of becoming a Delta. We working on it, Lord Jesus. But one day I'm gonna get on her and I'm gonna be like, hey.
One day we're gonna have the celebration.
Hey.
But yeah, I will say the Greek life, or even before the Greek life, also helped bring some perspective into, you know, the whole college experience.
Oh my
because
God.
on our campus at the time, you know, that Greeks wasn't really prevalent. You had Delta on campus, you had the Kappas on campus, and you had Alphas and Zetas and Sigmas. So Alpha Kappa Alpha was even on the yard.
At K-State, I remember too, like when I got there, they wasn't on the yard either. And I don't think they even came on the yard until a couple of years after I even graduated. But I don't know what happened, but yeah.
And I know a lot of people say, well, because you didn't have the chapter on the yard, like how did you even come to wanting to be an AKA? And I think it's just for me, it was modeled throughout my life. I had a lot of church members that were AKAs. My father's an Alpha. He threatened me if I ever went Greek that I would have to be an AKA. But I mean,
did you ever want? It was ingrained. I was like, did you want to do something else ever?
I did not. Okay. I did not. And I know, like, depending on which university you go to and what's modeled, what you see, it can really change your mind. I will say that if Alpha Kappa Alpha didn't become available while I was on campus, then I just wouldn't have came Greek, or I would have considered it as a graduate, because no shade to anybody that was in school with me during the time. It's just the other sororities that were there at the time didn't grab my interest. I didn't see any need to be a part of it. I felt fine as an individual. Okay. So, you know, it was fine. But yeah, Greek life, I will say, at a traditional college, it was everything. It had to be everything, because we didn't have nothing. Right. So, you know, the first weekend of the semester, they would always have what is called an icebreaker, and it was done by the Alphas. And so even before coming Greek, like, if you wasn't there, you was missing out on everything. Everybody show up doing their new strolls, they stepping, they partying. It was like the best time to be on campus. Like, you definitely had to make sure you was already registered into your dorm and be there on time and be there for that whole experience, because that definitely made one of the big things in college that I would not take back. What was your experience with Greeks, or just some of the things that
I saw? Because like I stated, I'm not, but can say one, the difference is like I said, I went to their probate. I had a cousin that crossed on the same line as her, and then it was like 5 of them that was from Male High School, so we knew a few people. When I say that a regular university's probate starts on time, I mean on time. Hbcu probates, honey, it could be in the rain. They're not coming out already pretty. They're not going to have a relaxer. They're not going to have that. They're going to be smelling. They ain't had a relaxer for 6 weeks. They are No, for real. When the Deltas came out, honey, it seemed like they was almost seemed like they was in mud.
They just finished.
They just finished and I mean, it was so beautiful in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone, I remember the queues that came out. We was out there like 2:00 in the morning. It's raining. I remember when my cousin, he crossed in spring 03, I think, Kappa. They made them all shave their heads so they looked like Men in Black, and they came out like it wasn't on time. Like, you think they coming out at 10, you might be still standing out there
waiting.
at 12 a.m. Like, yeah, they wasn't coming out. Like, even when the Zetas came out of U of L, they came out, they looked ironed up and they hair shaking and that body. Like, no, I don't know what the process is with the HBCU at K-State.
And I can agree to that because I had been to several probates for at K-State. But yeah, at U of L, whatever time, because we were using facilities, so it wasn't just, we just gonna pick a place and go to it and have a probate. Like, so you on university time.
Yeah.
So, like when we came out, we literally came out in 1908, 708, but 19 military time. So, and the show, it was a show. It was a whole show. It felt like a whole hour that we were up there, citing our letters and everything. But it was a full show, and every sorority, every fraternity that done something, they had a full out show. It was like, you definitely was coming for, you was coming to see something. It wasn't gonna be nothing quick, nothing.
No, and now I can say that, like, after you done waited 2 hours, then you out there, because you ain't let down. You like, oh, they done went off. You know what I'm saying? You ain't let down, but it's just like, I guess it's just the anticipation. You don't know. So we just out there. But then during that time, it's like you congregating with everybody, wherever. If it's at the amphitheater or if it's somewhere on the yard, you know what I'm saying? This is late at night. I think it was just something about that suspense. And like, who is it? Like, you would not know who was coming out. Like, I thought that was very...
That was the best part.
Yeah.
I never forget when the Alphas came out. I think it was like in 2001. A high school mate, Lawrence Watkins, he had came out Alpha.
Mel.
We were sitting there like...
Hey, Lawrence!
I was like, Lawrence! You like... It just changed my whole world.
Who is Alpha? Charles Alpha?
Charles.
First of all, let's give a shout out to Big Charles. They ain't no longer Big Charles. It's Little Charles.
Just when you seen people that you knew, grew up with, you knew them from another life.
Yes.
They used to mess me up.
Like, I was happy for Tracy. Got like everybody airing you. I was just like, look at everybody. My cousin. I was like, and I knew I remember her talking about, we went to the Classic up in Indianapolis. It was me, my cousin Denisha, she lives there. Hey, Nika. And Yashira. And she was just talking about how she wanted to do it. I just remember us, going to the step show there. She was talking about it. And then, I could say about a year later or so, she was doing her thing. So I'm just really proud of, like, our peoples. Yes.
Yeah. Greek life, I definitely wouldn't take it back. Okay, we're going to talk about one more topic about HBCU and traditional college, which it sounds like we both agree. Those refund checks.
Hey, right in time for homecoming.
Hey, they used to be right on time for everything.
Refund fly.
Yes, those refund checks. I know.
And that's when Baby Fat was popping in the jean outfit. Girl, I remember I had me a dope little Baby Fat jean jacket with the fitting.
Girl,
for the concert.
You done use your money to go shopping. You ready for homecoming. It might help you pay for your fees, your initiation fees for, I'm just saying, might help pay for your boo, pay for his bills, pay for her bills. I'm just saying. Don't act like you ain't. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about.
I might be able to take you to Applebee's, get that 2 for $20, and that's about all I was gonna be able to do.
Yeah, but those refund checks was everything, and then it was based on your GPA. Like, so
your refund checks was based on your GPA.
Yeah.
Well, then I got cheated because my GPA was the bomb. Graduated with 3.58.
Okay, so you had the refund checks that came from if you had any student loans left over, which. If I would have known then, I wouldn't have took that money because that money could have went back to my
exactly.
mom.
So,
but then you had that grant. I think it was called Keys.
Yeah,
Keys. That was free money.
Yeah,
that was based on your GPA.
Yeah,
they had like different levels. And so you definitely wanted to keep your GPA up. But I'm telling you, that money. I know so many people that would get that money and I would never see them again in school.
Not gonna get my degree though.
Nah, it was people
like I'm
gonna get money. And
I'm gonna get my degree though.
But not me. No, I wasn't having it. No.
Shout out to the wine.
Yes, today's wine is Hubert's Winery, Sweet Marcella.
Hey.
I think you can only get this here in Kentucky.
Hey, KY Thoroughbred.
Or Indiana, because Hubert is in Indiana. But okay, we glad you guys had an opportunity to get to know us. Because like I said, you know, we are educated. We do want to share, you know, that at the end of the day, we did get our education, but we did have a good time in that
4-year degrees.
I would say my college years is still my best
years. Yeah. Like, it really was. Like, I was super spoiled. I can say, like, my daddy was paying for my apartment, and I left camp. I did move off campus my sophomore year. I definitely did. I couldn't do the dorm meetings.
I stayed in the dorm,
but I was still
my senior year.
Yeah. But it was like certain apartments that were like still most of the people were universities.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like most of the people that stayed in that apartment, you know, it was like 3 of them. It was Prince Hall, which sounded like a dorm, but it was Prince Hall, Hickory Hills. That was like I was like, I'm not gonna be able to stay here. And Woodside, which I felt like that's where I stayed. Hey, Woodside. That was on the west side, and it was very clean and neat. And they kept their lawn mowed, and I was like, okay, I can stay
here.
The
whole university in line.
No. It wasn't on campus. It's where a real apartments, like, so anybody can stay there. Right. But you got like income based in college, but a lot of students stayed there. So those were apartments that I just named. And I'm saying the management at that apartment kept it very nice, clean, and neat. And I'm just going to stay where it's nice, clean, and neat. One was blue, and I said I can't do. And then the other one, I was just like, this is dirty. And Woodside was the best. But, yeah. And I still was a part of campus.
And living in a dorm, you learn, okay, real quick.
Yeah,
most dorms is you got 2 beds in there, and you learn that while your friend or yourself is dating, that's got to change real quick. So you go from the big room to we need to separate. We just need to get an apartment on campus and separate. Yeah, because that wasn't.
We didn't have apartments on campus, but they were. Woodside was the furthest, so you definitely better have a car if you live over there. And then Prince Hall, they was kind of close, where if you probably needed to walk to class, you could. But I told my daddy, like, because I wrecked my first car, and then I wrecked my mama's car. Oh, and I know, I'm sorry. Well, actually, but you know what? Okay, when I wrecked my mama's car, that was my fault. But when my mom, you was with me, we went to Shoppers.
I know, yeah.
Yes, and that wasn't my fault. Somebody hit us from the back. Ew. Somebody hit us from the back, though. And so that wasn't my fault. But then I told my dad, I said, Daddy, I got to get a car. And I got me a little car, so I was able to go to Woodsack. My Honda Accord. Okay. I love college. I was just super spoiled. But then my daddy got sick. And senior year, he was just like, okay, when you graduate, you're going to take over your rent. Because he, you know, sick.
He
couldn't make it to my graduation. That was one thing. I say, like, the big sad thing from, like, college was when I did graduate, my daddy was in the hospital. And then I ended up finding out, like, a week or two kind of after that, like, I was going on they sent me on, like, a birthday trip to Miami. And he sat me down and told me he was diagnosed with cancer. So he wasn't able to come to my graduation. So that was the only thing that I hated. Because out of my siblings, like they, you know, my 2 brothers went to college and my sister chose not to. But I was the only one that went and graduated. And so I just felt like, that was one thing that was kind of sad. Like that my mom was able to make it, but that he was too sick to come.
He was there.
Yeah, he was there in spirit. Yeah, he was definitely there in spirit, but I hated that he was sick, and a year later he passed. So, yeah, but that's okay.
It's growth.
It's good. It was there in spirit. My biggest cheerleader.
Yes, that's all that matters.
Amen.
All right, well, we will be back with you guys next week. We appreciate you giving us our time, your time with us. Again, my name is Diamondpieces.
And I'm Denisha Ray.
You can check us out on our YouTube and our social media accounts. And we'll see you next week.
Shout out to U of L and shout out to Kentucky State University, baby. Hey, and I'm still going to throw them L's out because I represent them cards, baby.
Louisville.
Yes, Louisville. Ow.